Have you ever stopped to think about what really matters to you? What, by focusing on and applying it, can completely transform your life, even in times of adversity? We know that life is full of challenges. Some arise unexpectedly, while others are constant, like the pressure for results, task overload, and even the relentless search for a deeper purpose. But what if I told you there is an ancient philosophy that not only teaches how to deal with all these challenges, but how to overcome them with wisdom and clarity? A philosophy that can transform the way you approach life, its difficulties, and your own goals? This philosophy is Stoicism, an ancient teaching that remains relevant in the 21st century. The proposal of Stoicism is not just to accept what we cannot change, but to use what we have in our hands, our mind, our attitude, and our actions, to build a more balanced, wiser, and above all, happier life. And the good news is that Stoic principles are simple yet powerful. By applying these principles in your daily life, you can gradually transform your reality and achieve extraordinary results, both in your personal and professional life. In this video, I will share with you 10 Stoic teachings for living better. These life lessons will help you deal with difficulties, make wiser decisions, and live with more purpose and peace. If you're ready to take the first step towards a more balanced and less reactive life, keep watching. But before that, reflect. How have you been reacting to life's challenges? How could you respond more intelligently and serenely in the face of adversity? These teachings will help you find these answers and more. Stoicism emerged in the 3rd century BC, founded by Zeno of Citium, and quickly spread through Greece and Rome. Over the centuries, thinkers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius refined and systematized its principles. What makes Stoicism so relevant today is that it offers practical and applicable solutions to the challenges we all face daily, such as anxiety, anger, procrastination, and the search for meaning. The first teaching, which is one of the pillars of Stoicism, speaks about controlling the mind and accepting what we cannot change. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, "It's not the things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." This means that, although we cannot control the events of life, we can control how we respond to them. The teaching here is simple. When you face an adverse situation, the emotional response you give it is something under your control. If you react with anger, frustration, or despair, you are feeding negative emotions that only increase your suffering. Instead, Stoic practice suggests you focus on accepting the situation as it is and focus on what you can control, such as your attitudes and choices. The second teaching of Stoicism is to live in accordance with nature, an idea directly derived from Marcus Aurelius's view. He teaches us that life is composed of a series of natural cycles that follow an unalterable rhythm, and that fighting against this rhythm is useless and exhausting. Instead, we should seek to understand and accept these cycles, aligning our lives with them. This includes accepting that death is part of life, that pain is inevitable, and that changes are part of the natural process of the world. When we accept the nature of things, we become more resilient, more peaceful, and better prepared to face life's challenges. The third teaching is directly related to virtue as the only true good. For Stoics, virtue is the path to true happiness. Virtue is not about superficial morality or following imposed rules, but acting according to reason, wisdom, courage, and justice. Stoic happiness does not come from material goods or the relentless pursuit of pleasure, but from cultivating virtue in our daily actions. The practice of virtue leads us to a life of integrity, self-sufficiency, and inner peace. When we act with virtue, it doesn't matter what happens around us, because our inner peace comes from knowing that we are doing what is right. The fourth teaching tells us to control our emotions. Emotions can be powerful, and often we act impulsively driven by them, which leads to irrational and harmful decisions. However, Stoicism teaches us that emotions are automatic reactions we can learn to control. Instead of being controlled by anger, anxiety, or fear, we can choose to respond rationally and serenely. This doesn't mean suppressing or denying emotions. but choosing a wiser response is to practice self-discipline. Self-discipline is one of the pillars for achieving a virtuous and fulfilling life. When we are disciplined, we are able to focus on our long-term goals and resist the temptations and distractions of the moment. This allows us to make smarter decisions and live according to our values, not momentary desires. Epictetus said that true freedom comes when we master our desires and act with intention. Self-discipline is the key to living a life aligned with our principles and goals. Another fundamental teaching of Stoicism is to embrace adversity as an opportunity for growth. Rather than seeing challenges as something to be avoided, we should face them as opportunities for personal strengthening. Adversity is inevitable in life, but it also teaches us the most valuable lessons. Stoics believed that by facing obstacles with courage and patience, we can develop virtues like resilience, perseverance, and wisdom. When we talk about changing our perspective, we come to the seventh teaching. Often, the way we view problems shapes our experience. Stoicism teaches us to change our perspective on situations. What seems like a problem can be seen as an opportunity to grow and improve. By adjusting the way we view difficulties, we can learn to see the world in a more balanced and less reactive way. By changing our perspective, we change our life experience. Living in the present moment is the eighth teaching to be explored. In a world full of distractions, it is easy to get lost in worries about the future or regrets about the past. However, Stoicism reminds us that the only thing we truly have is now. We must live each moment with attention and intention, without being consumed by external concerns. When we focus on the present, we can act more effectively and save a life more fully. The ninth teaching is to seek wisdom in everything we do. Wisdom is the primary virtue for Stoics, as it is through wisdom that we are able to make the best decisions and act according to reason. The constant pursuit of wisdom allows us to deal with difficulties with clarity and discernment. This involves learning from our mistakes, reflecting on our actions, and always striving to improve. Finally, the 10th teaching is to cultivate gratitude. Although Stoicism is not a philosophy that directly focuses on spiritual aspects, it teaches us to be grateful for everything we have, including difficulties. Gratitude helps us cultivate a positive attitude, accept what we have, and live with more contentment. By practicing gratitude, we develop a greater appreciation for life, the lessons it offers, and the opportunities that arise each day. Now that we've introduced the basic concepts of Stoicism and its core teachings, let's delve into each of these principles and explore how we can apply them practically in our lives. Stoicism is not just an abstract theory, it is a philosophy of action, and its teachings can be applied practically to transform our attitudes, decisions, and consequently, our quality of life. Let's begin with the first principle we discussed: controlling the mind and accepting what we cannot change. This is undoubtedly one of the most powerful teachings of Stoicism, as it teaches us the difference between what is within our control and what is not. Often, we spend time and energy trying to change situations or people that are beyond our ability to influence. This leads to frustration, anxiety, and unnecessary suffering. However, Stoicism invites us to change our perception of things. By practicing discernment, we focus on what truly matters, our own reaction to events. For example, if we face negative criticism or an unjust situation at work, what we can control is our attitude toward it. We can choose how to react, stay calm, and reflect constructively on the situation, or we can give in to anger and frustration, which only harm us. By accepting what we cannot change and focusing on our actions, we begin to live more serenely and less reactively. The second principle of Stoicism, living in accordance with nature, reminds us that life follows natural cycles. Suffering, death, growth, and change are inevitable aspects of the human experience. Instead of resisting these cycles, Stoicism teaches us to embrace them. This means accepting that life is transient and that we will all face challenges at some point. However, it is in how we deal with these situations that our true strength lies. When we observe nature, we see that it does not resist change. The seasons, the moon cycles, and even the growth of a tree are natural processes that happen effortlessly. In our lives, we can learn from this fluidity. When we face difficulties, instead of fighting them, we can learn to flow with the events and extract valuable lessons from each. This alignment with nature helps us accept adversity with more wisdom and seek an inner balance that allows us to act more assertively and calmly. The third principle of Stoicism, virtue as the only true good, forms a solid foundation for the philosophy. For Stoics, virtue is not something superficial or a matter of appearance, but a continuous practice of living according to reason and wisdom. This means acting with honesty, justice, courage, and temperance in all situations. If our lives are guided by these virtues, it does not matter what happens around us, because our inner peace is unshakable. When we apply this principle in our daily lives, we challenge ourselves to make decisions that often go against the current of society. We live in a world that often values quick profit, immediate pleasure, and status. However, by choosing virtue over these things, we are seeking something deeper, something that gives us lasting happiness and fulfillment. Stoicism teaches us that true happiness comes not from external things, but from aligning our actions with what is virtuous. The application of the other Stoic teachings, such as controlling emotions, embracing adversity, changing perspectives, living in the present moment, seeking wisdom, and cultivating gratitude, further strengthens the foundation of this philosophy. Through these teachings, we learn to lead a life of balance, resilience, and wisdom. In conclusion, Stoicism offers a valuable guide for living a better life. By applying its principles, we become more resilient, wise, and calm in the face of adversity. In an ever-changing world, Stoicism provides the tools to transform how we deal with challenges, achieve personal growth, and live a more fulfilling life. If you want to delve deeper into Stoicism and learn how to incorporate these teachings into your life, I encourage you to keep exploring these ancient principles. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video has inspired you to reflect on how you can apply Stoic teachings to improve your own life. Don't forget to leave your comments below on how you intend to incorporate these lessons into your daily routine. See you in the next video.